home, there's my wall. See, it's the flower, mine is lost. Beyond space, beyond time, give me a fire, clear my mind. Tale of love, so divine. You are human, just like now. I can see it in the dark. Take my hand and bring me back. Call me by name, I will wait. Tell me your secrets, be my friend. Build me with the light. I am dreaming every night. You are both organized. You are human, you and me. I can see it.
Guys, we made it back. The
Let's
Riot
go.
could not hold us back. We have a series to play out tonight, and it's going to be a banger. As we see, all 5 members of RAWR are kind of going for some bot lane shenanigans. They're going to see if they can find someone who's unsuspecting, and one hand could be that target.
I do think they're gonna get it. I mean,
And it looks like, oh, one hand is spotted out. We're going to see if a flash comes out. And it's flash. It's a flash, but that flash was actually so crazy from one hand, by the way.
Yeah, being able to get around the rock. Yeah.
That was actually like kind of like one of the greatest flashes I've seen. I know it's like I should have hyped it up more, but like because I know no one ended up dying, but like that flash is nuts. Holy shit.
I will say though that they did put 2 of their wards into that bush, so that's a little sad there. But
We're gonna see. Yeah. Now the wards are spotted, so it looks like we see 4 wards were placed in that bot side quadrant. So it looks like
all
Leeson,
5.
he's not spotted, so I think they got to be a little careful. As we can see, he is spotted out by Feathers here, but Dead doesn't realize Feathers is in the area. And Awoke is going to make sure that they don't go for any cheeky shenanigans. Make sure, hey, those chickens are my junglers, not yours. And it looks like this is really going to try to put Dead behind, as he's really wanting to commit to these Raptors. Actually, I don't know if he got spotted back by Feathers and Awoke there. But
Ooh, misses the hook actually onto the minion. Oh, Riven jumps in. Not gonna do much though.
not going to
Just
get
a little
too
poke.
much done here. Yep. As we see a little bit of some aggressive trading here mid, but nothing too crazy. As we're just seeing a little bit of early game action there. Kind of getting it done, right?
I will say that it is really good. I do, of course, see the Nautilus having exhaust, trying to stop that Riven, kind of jump in. We also have Draven did take barrier instead of cleanse. We kind of thought about
We were
that
debating
before,
about
but
that, yeah. There's a
we
bit of a
also
debate, but we
see
see a
Yone.
Hex Flash charging up. Xerix,
Oh.
I don't know if he got spotted there, actually. Able to get the root on Leona, but I don't think that is the target you need. He's able to get the E off, and that's a good amount of damage traded onto this Leona here. I don't think they're going to keep going here. He has PTA fully stacked, but I think they're just going to call it there. But now cutting mid, we see a Q3 land. But right now, these two are kind of just willing to sit at low HP. They're kind of feeling each other out, making sure, hey, whoever gets this first kill mid is going to be in a lot of trouble. So they got to make sure that they don't go in. But we see the Fate Sealed come out. Both hit 3 at the same time. Awoke is in the awesome mode. He gets a lot of damage off. Conqueror fully stacked. But Shaco on the Echo is actually lurking in the brush here, as Riven is pretty low right now. But it looks like Drop
knockout.
Dead is hanging out.
And-
Let me see. Nothing too crazy yet. As Xerix he is
He is on a
spotted on this
ward,
board.
yeah.
They know him, but oh, the
Ooh,
nice
misses.
attempt at the hook. But we see the CC layering coming out. But when Leona is going
Oh,
in, the ignite comes out. But the exhaust trade is
flash
Jonicus going to
out.
be able to pick up the kill first. It is a first blood over to Jonicus, and Xerix is able to live. That is exactly what you want to see as Draven. You're getting this game started. But dang,
Oh,
Xerix
just get the
landed the
kill.
hook, but it's a death on his side. Jonicus
This is it.
picks up the
Ooh.
double. This is what we want to be seeing from RAWR at this point.
Exactly. I mean, that is a good amount of gold. Gonna be able to come back with. He did get 150, actually 154 gold right there from that play. So that's gonna really help the Draven here. Being able to come back with, never mind, just some refillables. I mean, having more sustain actually, and
What do you mean a
also,
BF sword? I'm looking
I
at
just
that
saw that
BF sword.
I just saw that BS sword. I thought that was a long sword for a sec, and I
No,
looked
that's a
back. I'm
big
like,
that's a big sword. That's a
yeah,
best friend
that's
sword,
a,
not just any long sword. But now cutting over, we see a long sword as that Zenith blade is not long enough as it doesn't connect onto a woke there, but we see two members of RAR are positioning very aggressively, trying to punish this low HP Riven on Riven, but Xerix is able to land that root onto Leona, able to get that W from
stun
Echo,
up.
able to do a ton of damage. I
Oh
think
my god, that CC
Physiology
chain.
is going down here. Riven's trying to get involved, but I don't think it's enough damage, and Physiology is going to fall for the second time already at 4 minutes.
I felt bad for physiology, I think, just because there was so much CC put on him. I mean, that was at least what 3-4 seconds at least, and it's like having the echo stun, having the knock up, having this the hook and stun from Nautilus. There's just not much
But
you
we
can
see
do.
the Q
Actually,
lands, drop dead, and nice flash engage there from Ribbon. Awoka's trying to flash back, buy some time, but I think this flash might be for nothing as he's trying to E, but I think Ribbon, she's got the 3 dashes, and she's able to get that last one and pop it right on the Yone's head. And that is the kill that Ribbon needs to get this lead going.
yeah, I do think it was a little weird why Yone flashed backwards. I guess I understand that it would have tried to like juke him out, but I think that at that moment it might have just been better just to kind of hold the flash. Actually, though, Riven might die here.
Now Riven in a bit of trouble as the stun comes out. Xerix is able to get the root, and I
That
think
is the
Nautilus
kill.
actually autos to take the kill. I'm a little surprised. I think you should have given it over to your jungle, right? Echo enjoys some kills, obviously, but I guess they're still able to get a good amount of value. So I think Xerix is like, hey, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get the job done. So he's willing to take these kills.
I will say this is definitely a way better start for RAR than, of course, last game being very heavily favored to TD Blessed right at the beginning. But here again, RAR is already 1k gold up, 2 kills up. And the most beneficial is that Draven has 2 kills plus first blood. There's just so much you can do out of that. Actually,
Absolutely.
flashing for the Nautilus here.
The flash in comes out as we see One Hand is doing a great job of trying to buy his support time, but without summoners, and Jonik is doing a ton of damage. He's able to get another kill. Physiology, you cannot be in these spots, man. This Draven is a beast, and he's going to get a lot of damage done, as he already has 3 kills and 40 CS under his belt.
Now, it looks like he's just going to stay there. Actually, Lee Sin's in the area. Riven
Aggressive
actually
trade
jumps
in
in.
here from Riven. The Fate Sealed is dodged. If Riven wants, she can use the Broken Blade and get it going, but she's going to back out. She doesn't want to go all in here. She's not going to use Blade of Exile, as we see Xerix is choosing to use this Hex Flash pretty aggressively. He's not in a good spot, but he actually barely misses that Dredge line. I don't know if it would have been a kill, but it would have been a lot of damage, as it looks
Lee
like
Sin
Zed's
misses
in
as
the
well.
area
Ooh.
trying to get something done. But we'll have to see, as right now, Riven is doing a good job surviving. She's up 9 farm, and we'll have to see if that pressure is going to carry over, as we do see it might help a little bit, as the rest of the Blessed teammates are on this dragon here.
Yeah, of course, that will be, of course, first dragon going over, and it'll be interesting to see if Drop, as soon as he finishes that, will jump up. But actually, great trading here, actually. Oh, great dodge
Very
from the Riven.
surprised that Xerix went for that hook there. I mean, he had the minions to cover him, so he's not going to take a ton of damage. But we see Physiology and Dead are in the area. They're trying to pick up Xerix here, but Xerix is able to walk away. So no harm, no foul. The Nautilus is just letting him know, hey, I'm going to put some pressure on you. You got to be careful. As this melee matchup mid is very volatile, right? The champion that falls behind is going to feel pretty useless in these fights. But we see Awoka's going in with the E, right? Trying to get a little bit of damage, but I think it was a little bit too early. That
Ooh,
Q3
misses
isn't
the
going to hit. And Xerix isn't able to get in a good enough position to follow up, especially when you have a ward right on you there.
Okay, so we see here again, both top laners are a little lower in mana. Yes, Barbaric is, of course, lower on health, but just has more mana, so that Feather won't be able to do much here. Now we do see Echo kind of hovering here, kind of going for these grubs here. Of course, being that we know that Lee Sin was at drag, he is going to slow push up, trying to clear his wave. So Shaco will be able to get at least one of these grubs here.
Mm-hmm. As we do see, I think that is a good start, right? Shaco's doing a good job. He wasn't able to pick up the Drake, but still willing to trade, especially when a Woke is going to come over and help you hang out, get these Drakes. I think that is 3 grubs over to the side of RAWR, right? And when you have the Yone, but we don't care about that as Dredgeline hits onto Physiology, right? This Leona is a hook magnet, right? Jonicus is getting so much damage off, but that Gen Trap is going to slow down Jonicus' Blood Rush, and I think that blood is boiling, but it's not going to be able to pick up that kill. As we see, Jonicus is just okay to take that hook, get some damage on him.
Yeah, but only having that longsword, Jin is just
Fate
not
Sealed!
actually.
The Fate Sealed goes on Riven there. As we see, that is a double stun from Riven, able to buy that really bad spot and get out of that. That's
I mean,
great to see.
Yeah, basically forcing the Yone to actually use his ultimate, which means you're gonna be safe for another at least a minute or so. I will say though, this Jin only having this longsword is just tickling this Nautilus. Yeah, Nautilus doesn't have the armor, but just having just the amount of health that he has, there's just not much that this Jin can do early game. He needs the items, but of course with the BF sword on Draven, there's just not much they can do.
100%. Right, and I mean, we look at it right now. You were talking about it earlier. This is the start we wanted to be seeing from RAWR, right? This is a comp that they have used in the past. This is something that is comfort for them. They play very strong in these early game kind of aggressive picks, right? Draven, this Jonicus guy is pretty good at the champion. He already has his BT at 9 minutes.
Oh my,
this
that is insane.
A disaster. For if I'm one hand, I am putting one hand on my head because I'm so mad at myself right now. This is not what you want to see. I'm face palming. This is
Yeah, especially because not even like Yone or Riven has their first item yet. I will say it is very funny how Lee Sin does have 3 longswords and a pickaxe in his inventory. You'd expect a little more variety, but I guess that's Lee Sin for you.
Yeah, he could be going with that Eclipse, maybe Ravenous Hydra. I think it is probably an Eclipse angle, but we'll have to see as he's going to try to use that longsword to his advantage as he finds out Xerix, but I don't think he realized Awoke was sitting behind as that exhaust from Xerix is going to be a lot of damage, and the flash from Awoke, he misses the Q3, but it does not matter as he gets the kill on the recall. But Physiology and Riven were waiting in the lanes, and it looks like Riven, with that Path of the Exile, the Blade of the Exile, they're going to be able to kill Xerix unless Xerix dredge lines away. He goes in for the flash, he's able to get the kill, but I think Jonicus is going to have a clean one to pick up as we see the curtain call come out, trying to fill off Jonicus here, as Shaco is still on Physiology, trying to get that damage, but the blast cone is going to get him out of this one.
I mean, yes, it's a 1-for-1, but I don't think that's worth it just because you gave the kill to the Draven. I mean, currently he's sitting at 484 gold earned just from his passive there. I don't think it's really worth it for TD Blessed here, but they have a kill, yes, but that's only going to further...
Yeah. I will say, of all the people to put kills on, I think Riven on the Riven is something that I'm not mad at, right? This guy on Yone put on an absolute clinic, right? He did great works. He got his ultimates off, and I think if this is one of his favorite champions, right? If you're named after a champion, you probably like it, right? If you have the lead, right? We see Yone doesn't have that completed Bork, while the Eclipse is completed over on the side of Riven. If they're able to punish on this window, it could be really good for Blessed, as we'll have to see if Awoke's going to give him that angle, but we really need Riven to step up and kind of punish this this item window.
Yeah, I do actually wonder if they're going to try to... Yeah, oh, no, it doesn't look like Leona. Leona is trying to, but just isn't able to do anything. Because, of course, the Awoke doesn't actually have Flash here, so if they actually can take advantage of that, I mean, they can do it. But Yone still does have the ultimate, Riven does not, so that is going to be a part of contention. Actually, it's just Bush. Nope, they do get spotted, though.
They do get spotted, as we also see a lot of the members of RAWR are kind of happy to sit in this bush, wait for something to happen, maybe wait for someone to step out of position. But TD Blessed is a little more disciplined than that, as they're still going to sit back. They aren't too far out of this game yet, right? Draven has a lot of gold, but he can still get shut down at the end of the day, as it's going to really depend on how well these teams can kind of stop this hemorrhaging from happening, right? There's a lot of pressure, as we see RAWR actually is going to be able to pick up a dragon, so stop that soul stacking there for TD Blessed. But Woke is trying to get some aggressive trading. It's hit by the Q3, but he's going to have to go back, and it's a good amount of aggressive trading there from Riven. But right now, Shaco's kind of hitting this dragon uncontested, and I think with Jonicus there, I think that basically seals the deal.
Oh,
that's
is that actually a kill? No, it won't.
Over to RAWR, but we see the hook land on Physiology, right? But we see the ultimate actually going over to one hand, right? It's not going to be enough, as one hand does a great flash again. Hey, props to that guy. This guy can flash, I will be honest. But the depth charge isn't able to get the job done, and Xerix is going to have to unfortunately walk away. But we see Shaco trying to get an aggressive trade, and now cutting up to Feathers. It's a grass proc, but Right now, we see actually, I
TP
keep
in from
talking.
Yona
The
here.
TP is coming in, right? Feathers just seems to be by himself, but Awoke is trying to get involved. That's going to be a fate sealed. It is able to get
Actually
one at
hits,
least.
hits
Dead
one,
is
and
dead. Dead, dead. And right now, it looks like the Gragas is going to have to walk away to his tower, and that looks like that's going to be at least 4 grubs picked up for the side of RAWR.
I will say, if you look bottom lane, that's a level 6 Leona versus a level 9 Draven. That is not going to be good. Again, I still think even if Leona hits the stun and perfectly, I think with the barrier, with the flash, Draven will have no problems just getting away here. Yeah, oh, ooh, Hook does miss, not able to do anything here. Shaco is behind though. Looks like he won't try to go for anything, but that could have been a tower dive if they're a little more cocky there. They do because they
Riven's
do
got to
know they're
be
up. Oh,
careful here as the E does come out from Awoke, but it looks like there's not going to be anything else, especially with Shaco choosing to complete that base. But Riven is a little low on HP here, but she's going in with the ultimate. She sees a kill window here. That is a lot of damage, but the Q3 does land for Awoke. Is it going to be a battle?
oh,
It is enough damage, and we talk about it. Riven is able to pick up that kill. She had the completed item, while Yone, he still doesn't have that Bork, and I think that was the difference maker there in that fight.
yeah, definitely. Yes, they have. Of course, Yone has the shield, has of course the vamp sector for the lifesteal, but it's just not enough against the Riven. Especially, yes, I got the knockup, but Riven has multiple. She can stun you. She has the ult that does an incredible amount of damage plus the added effects. So
Oh,
actually,
but speaking of
oh,
incredible amount of damage, Jonicus having to flash away from the solar flare, but dead. He flashes to make sure that Jonicus is going to get hit by this
but does he
kick.
die
Is
though?
he going to beat up? It's
He's not gonna.
And Chico's
Oh,
able
he
to pick up the
dies
kill,
though.
but Jin gets the return kill. And right now, it looks like they picked up Jonicus,
Maybe
but
in
with
from
that depth charge
Riven.
landing, it's going to be tough for one hand. He's able to flash away here.
Would his
He might be
psychology
able to buy
live?
enough time, but the recall from Shaco, forcing one hand to stop his ultimate early. That curtain call is not going to be complete today, as Xerix is doing a good job trying to buy space for Shaco. Riven is here, but Shaco, you got to be
Oh,
careful,
stunned
man.
though.
You don't have ultimate. He got the stun off, but I don't think you have enough follow-up damage here. And I think Xerix is going to drop, but Shaco goes in aggressively. He's able to land on Leona, but I don't think that's the champ you want.
Yone's here though.
He's
Yone
able to
might
get the
clear though.
flash. Yone shows up, misses the fate sealed. Riven's trying to chase down Shaco, but we see the flash from Awoke is able to pick up Jin. Riven's able to get the kill on the other side. There is a lot of action going on, and a lot of it is centered around these mid lane carries.
Yeah, I think that was great play by both mid laners there. Having the Riven come in, kind of save them for a little bit, able to get the kill back. And of course, the Yone there just kind of clean up the kills, make sure that it's not, not living at 1 HP. And they do it well. Of course, now they have the Bork on hand. But this is the type of game we want to see. An actual close game instead of kind of that last game, very one-sidedness coming out from DD4. Or
It is true. This is a banger game, right? It is still a bit of a 2K gold lead, right? That Draven does get a lot of extra cash, but it's not as bad. Game is still very, very playable. As we see, now Physiology is going in, but Riven with the aggressive flash, I think Awoke actually dodged it with the Q3 into E, but Riven is not able to land her Qs, but he's in a position. I think if the stun lands, it's able to land on Xerix. They're going on Awoke. They're trying to do enough damage, and the Q3, the ultimate to finish it off, Jin, one hand is able to get that kill. Is
Ooh,
Xerix
Jin
going to
is
be
really
able to
close,
fall?
though.
It doesn't look like it, but Shaco's here. He's trying to get involved here. He's trying to get the damage off, but with the CC from Leona, I think he's not going to get anything done. And then with that Draven ult missing too, wait, the
Uh-oh, here
recall,
comes
the
them back.
recall, it's not, wait,
Oh,
dead!
he got it!
Dead again! That is a nice recall. I don't know if he meant to do that, but that was nasty, and Jodicus is putting on a performance tonight.
Yeah, that was incredible there. Great. I thought that Lee Sin actually sidestepped it, but I guess he didn't. Actually stun on two. No, that's not going to be much damage, though. Does get the hit there, kind of be able to walk away. But I think in the beginning, I thought that was a great play by Physiology. He ended up, stop the Shaco from jumping in under the low health Lee Sin and Jin, but just the return on Draven's ult just seals the deal.
Absolutely, and I think off of that play, right, Shaco is in a position to try to take this Rift Herald, right? He did get spotted on the ward, but we see Lee Sin is kind of figuring out where he wants to go, right? I think it did get pinged, so it looks like he's going to try to path up there, but Shaco has a good amount of damage on his Echo, right? He's able to get this Rift Herald, and I don't think that Drop Dead is going to be able to get in a spot to contest this, especially with Feathers coming over to make sure this is secured.
I will say, though, in the beginning of the last fight, I think that was a really good dodge, actually, by Awoke. Of course, the Riven flashed in, but having a Q3 so you actually don't get stunned there kind of reminds me of the owner Rel flash over the arrow. Same thing, but different champions. Still the same effect, though, being able to stop any CC. does still go down in the fight, but it still at least prolonged it enough so that Draven could get the kill from the ult return.
Absolutely,
Oh.
but we see this Zenith Blade is able to land, and the Solar Flare comes out. I think Jonicus, there's too much CC, man. Maybe if you had to cleanse, you live. But
A triple!
He does it again, but Awoke doesn't have the follow-up. What is with these Yones getting the massive Fate Seals into instantly dying? It looked good, but you don't have the follow-up. Jonicus died. That is just a 2 for 0, and that is what TD Bless need to get back into this game, as they're going to take a dragon.
I don't think it's good. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess all Barbarian's trying to do is just keep him out. Keep Shaco out of the fight. Make sure he isn't able to smite steal. But look at top lane though. That is going to be almost the second turret gone here.
Yes, we see he's able to charge. He's able to get those Void Grubs, and with him pretty strong, right? He's able to get some damage off, and that tower could be almost dead, right? This is kind of crazy.
It's gonna be gone, yeah.
He's walking in his face menacingly, and right now he's able to take that tier 2, and that is a lot of gold coming into Feather's pocket right here. And he has a 250 gold shutdown.
Yeah, that was first tower blood plus an extra tower as well. I mean, that opens up top lane so much, that allows the Orin to roam way more, being able to support the Yone, being able to support the Draven in some of these fights that just hasn't been able to during everything else. Because I mean, all Orin's done is kind of just split push this entire map. Has 2 items now. He's now built the Warmogs. I mean,
yeah, this Draven is strong as hell. I didn't mean that in a gross way. I mean that in a, oh, this is nasty, right? TD Plus needs to be really, really scary. But hey, on the other side, we haven't talked about it, but Riven sitting with 6 kills, 2 assists, and she already has 2 items. She has that Sundered Sky and Eclipse. This Riven, if she does not get CC locked, is going to do tons of fucking damage. Sorry, pardon my potty mouth.
but I will say, actually, jump on a side. Physiology isn't gonna. It has to flash out. Draven's in the area, but doesn't do much. Actually, Riven jumps in here. Knock up. Fate Seal.
Not going to be enough. As we actually, cutting down, we see Riven's able to pick up that kill.
Another
Great
solo
work
kill
here.
for Riven here.
And it looks like Awoke is, he seems to be asleep right now as he's taking these kills. He's taking these deaths. And Riven, on the Riven, is kind of accelerating this lead a little bit, trying to see if there's a little bit way back into this one.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see as well, Draven has the IE. That's gonna be incredible damage. But like, look at mid. I mean, 7-2-2 versus 3-6-2. That Riven is just so far ahead. There's also no one else to contest her for this tower. She's gonna get this first tower here and clear the wave. At least have the wave pushing. We do see Nautilus, and we do see Echo kind of coming down here trying to stop this, but there's nothing they can really do.
Hey, I mean, Riven's a pretty mobile champ, right? She has so much mobility tools, and I think Riven actually choosing to go for a soul, but she's spotted on the ward. I don't think she realizes Zerek's doing a great job flashing and making sure that dredge line lands. I think if Shaco has the follow-up damage, we're going to see... He doesn't enough! He doesn't have the shield is able to make it so Riven lives on 1 HP, but Shaco's trying to go around, and I don't think he realizes forcing out Riven's flash, but I think Shaco's in a bit of a pickle. He doesn't have that recall, and I think, oh my god, his shield lives again! Riven, flash stun gets so...
Notice in the air, though. Doesn't have space still, though.
Landing on 2, he's in the E, and I think he's gonna be in a bit of a pickle. There are 4 people.
Does he get it back though?
No. And he falls. Riven is putting on a show.
This early game lead is just slowly whittling down. I mean, now it's not even. It's barely a 2K gold lead now. They do get mid turn off of that play, but I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, that's 4 members down for the side of RAWR. I mean, this TD Blessed we're down, but they're crawling their way back. They're taking these fights. They're winning. The RAWR is not going in at the same time. They keep going one by one, kind of and just dying.
Hey, I mean, we saw at the beginning of this game, right, that Draven got 2 kills. I went, uh-oh, this game could be over. But even though they still have that gold lead, right, it's still been sitting at 2K for a majority of this game, right? Jonicus is the win con at this point, right? This Yone, realistically, he'll have the opportunity to scale, but most of his damage is on this Draven. And at the end of the day, when there's so much CC, it's tough, but Zerek's just showing drop dead that he's in the jungle. He's going to get this vision, and it doesn't look like anything's going to happen here. As we see, Feathers actually positioning a little aggressively here. I think he has the opportunity to dive this one-hand Jhin, but he's going to take the tower right in his face. So much damage with that Demolish, and Feathers... I know we keep saying it. He's kind of the unsung hero. He's just going to get involved. But now we see Xerix flashing in, trying to find an angle here. And it looks like he's going for Barbaric Champion. That depth charge lane is the dredge line following it up. Jonicus is doing a lot. He's trying to land axes. But we're going to see if it's enough. That Gragas is pretty freaking tanky. And he's going to be able to walk away here. But I love the creativity from Xerix. This Hex Flash usage has been fantastic. And now,
Yes.
cutting up top,
Oh.
we see the Fate Seal come out. That is really aggressive. As soon as you use that,
Actually,
Riven's just
though-
going to immediately go in on you. But now cutting to bot side,
Three-man
we see a
stun, though.
3-man stun. You say it, and it's happening, but it doesn't look like anything else is coming from it, right? Riven is up 10 kills at this point. She is ballooning this lead, and right now, I think she's going to be ballooning another tower into the economy of TD Blast.
I just want to say, this Riven is now 3 levels up against this Yone. I mean, what can RAWR even do against this? Riven is the highest level here. Even Feathers, who has just been able to get that kind of that solo XP, is only level 14 at this rate.
I think right now there's a lot of pressure. Ooh, the
Ooh,
Dredge
this
line
is-
barely missing. I don't know if that would have been a complete kill, but right now, if I'm RAWR, I'm kind of sweating in my boots, right?
Oh,
I
Hex
don't
Flash
think
over, though. Oh,
there's an angle, Hex Flash
doesn't
over, but we see a TP coming out from the side of Riven, trying to make sure nothing happens, but nothing this time, as we actually see Awoke is kind of in a really bad spot right now. He's sitting around in this jungle, and I don't know if he got spotted here. There's a lot of vision, but I don't think it's enough to get involved. But one hand and all the members of TD Blessed are in a spot to fight. They're wanting this Infernal Drake. It's more damage, and they like damage. But it looks like Awoke is going to be able to walk down. He was able to get away without getting spotted. We'll
But
see
there
if this-
goes Dragon here. Also, actually, what's worse is that Awoke actually TP'd in. And now he doesn't even have TP for the fight, so he's not going to be able to do anything for a while here. I mean, that's kind of very unfortunate. But there's nothing you can really do. Again, there was so much vision there, and as well, Feather just wasn't in the area to actually contest.
Absolutely. And I mean, right
They're
now,
just going for Baron.
I think there is the opportunity to go for Baron here. It is spotted by the Ward. That Farsight there doing a good job, doing its job. But I think, honestly, I think they're just contesting this Drake. In the vision, not the Drake. The Drake was gone. But Xerix, face checking here. He gets stopped by the Zenith Blade, but Shaco is trying to get involved, goes over with the EW, but it's a little bit
Just missed
early
the
as
hook. Oh,
Riven
face seal comes
and
out.
Awoke fight each other again. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so, man. You're down
And-
2 levels. You got to be careful. And with that Q and that
Yep.
experience, Riven's going to finish it off. And right now, this Yone has 9 deaths. Is he going to hit his 10 death power spike this game?
But it's not
Monsters?
0-10. It's not 0-10, though.
That's
so,
true.
And it's also... It's not 0-10, so there's no power spike that's going to come in. There's not much that RAWR can really do here. Again,
But
they
they're
have
trying
to
make
stop.
something happen as Feathers wants to get involved, right? He has that bounty. He's been farming. He's like, hey guys, what's been going on the bottom side of this map, right? He's wanting to get his team involved, and he's still pretty strong. And I think he could potentially match this Riven. It's tough, but Riven.
This might be third item for Riven, though. Is it back? Is it?
It is the angle. They're gonna back off. She gets her.
There's third
recall
item.
off. That is the
Tiny
Profane
Hydra.
Hydra
That is
too.
not going to be... I also wonder that's a 600 gold bounty as well on the Riven here. Uh-oh.
Oh, but
Drop my
Shaco
Vexy
might
dead
have
here.
dropped dead, but that blast cone is going to make it so he gets out of this one alive. But Xerix lands
comes
the
in.
depth charge. It's going to be enough. The depth charge comes out, but the kick, it buys him enough space. But Feathers is hanging out, man. I don't think you get out of this one unless you
Flash
flash.
out.
But it's a little risky, as the flash from Echo is going to be able to secure that one.
I mean, at least you are happy that you got the flash out. Of course, you use flash, but that is 2 ultimates gone right there. That is the Draven ult. That is the Nautilus ult. Oh,
As we see, Riven is kind of in a bad spot right now, forced to flash out, and with 5 members, I think you're fed, but I don't know if you're that fed, as Awoke is trying to buy some time, but with that Fate Shield, you're running out of time. And Feathers, I think, was the one to flash in there, trying to get something, make something happen. As
Xerix,
Xerix
what is
going over
Xerix
the wall.
doing?
Oh my god, that's so much damage. That's not what you want to do. I don't think Shaco meant to get caught in that. As Xerix is
look
looking
at
to
Feathers.
fall,
He's
but
gonna spin
Riven
it
is
up
finding
in.
Jonicus. And we see the Fate Shield.
Fate Seal comes out.
Riven might be dead. Riven is so... He's living. Is he living? He does. As Awoke's able to pick up the kill, but Jin's getting so much done on the backside. He's able to get that double kill. And with Shaco really the only damage threat, it's going to see if he's going to be able to get that damage. The recall comes out, but it's just Feathers and Shaco. Right, the Zenith Blade lands on Echo, and pop goes Echo. And it looks like Feathers is just the one alive. Ornn is pretty tanky, but with that root missing, there is the angle, but I think with 4 members, I don't think you're getting out of this one. Buddy,
does get a kill? Does he get in the
He's
second
gonna
one?
get 2. It's close,
No, the shield's
but
too
it's
much.
not enough. And the shutdown goes over to Lee Sin, and this is TD Blessed game to lose at this point.
That was a great. Again, that was a great engage by Awoke there, Jonik. But the problem is Jonicus just died way too quickly. They weren't able to actually dish out the damage there. Looked like a good engage, but again, like last game, the Wallace are just not helping them. They don't have the item. They don't have. They don't have the Yone fed, so they don't have the front line as well. And actually. Oh.
Draven ultimate comes out. It's close, but you know, I was gonna talk, but I got sidetracked by something. Do you see that item, that component in Yone's inventory launches?
That's a lethality. Why would you go?
I am wondering what the move is here. I'm a little
Collector?
surprised. I, as a Yone player, don't really see a lethality item in Yone's kit usually. I think especially against a team that's gonna be stacking armor, it's a little
Yeah.
surprising to see. I'm guessing maybe Edge of Night is the only thing I could guess. Maybe wanting a spell shield to get away from some of the CC from Leona. But still, I'm surprised, especially when you kind of aren't in the lead. You're kind of falling behind a little bit to this Riven. That's rated Dirk's a little funny to me.
Oh, it might be a Hex Flash over. Doesn't actually commit to it, though. I will say, the only other thing I can think about is unless Yone is like really pissed off on like how low some of the like the Riven or the Jhin are getting, and just gonna get Collector. Collector. It's not really viable on Yone, but if he's pissed off and he wants that execute, it's I guess you can do it.
Maybe he knows something we don't,
Oh.
but it looks like one hand doesn't know that Xerix is in the area. And even with that depth charge missing, I think getting caught there, maybe the flash gets him enough space, but that shutdown goes over to Shaco. One hand got caught red-handed there as he falls, but it looks like there's a bit of a response. Riven wants to get involved. She knows she has the wallet. And with that, we might see they're trying, but it looks like RAWR is just okay to buy this space, right? They're going to probably clear that control ward, and they're looking to take this next Infernal Drake.
Yeah, I will say, though, it does suck. Draven tried to flash for the kill to make sure he can cash out, but he isn't able to get it. That is flashed down for...
See the body slam land, but a
There you go.
dredge line comes out immediately, and it looks like it's going to be enough. Shaco having to use his W a little bit early there. As we see, we're trying to kind of buy time for one hand. I think
But look at
that it
top
is-
lane.
But yeah, Ornn is getting so much value here. I don't think they realize what he's doing at this point. I didn't even notice this. Feathers is just uncontested here. He has TP to follow up this engage as well. I think with Riven being here, it makes it the opportunity. But we see Xerix getting engaged on, and Feathers comes in with a TP. Fatefield is not able to land, but Xerix instantly pops, and Shaco falls next. Riven is getting so much value here, but Jonicus is untouched in the back. He is free firing. Barbaric forced to Zhonya's, and I don't think they're able to get on him.
Riven is just doing
in
so much
area.
damage, though.
Is she going to be able to catch? Jonicus is trying to buy time, but it's not enough as the stun lands on Jonicus, and with that shot from Jhin, it looks like it's going to be a Feathers left once again. And Riven is coming in to get this kill, trying to buy space. Barbaric running for his life, body slamming away as he needs to do. Feathers once again all alone, and it looks like it just wasn't enough. As Feathers was able to get a lot top, but the fight was not the end result.
The thing is, no one's actually clearing top wave. Now we do see Barbaric is walking up there, but a good TP from Awoke, a good TP from Feathers, if they're not careful, could end the game against TD. So it's like they're gonna have to be careful. That is an open neck or an open inhibitor now. So
Okay, we did find the answer to our question from previously launches. That completed lethality item is actually going to be Serpent's Fang. I think it does have value here, actually. I guess if you need that anti-shield item, it's okay. I would...
Riven and Leona? It's not...
Riven and
I wouldn't say
Lee Sin.
bad.
Also,
Lee Sin as well.
Eclipse, you get some value from it as well. I honestly think it probably should have been on Draven, though. I don't know if that's a common thing to think, but I just think Yone absolutely does not get enough value out of the item, while Jonicus, he's able to hit these axes on a lot of targets, break these shields. I think that's the better choice, but it looks like that's not what RAWR chose to go with here.
I think Yone is just trying to go... It's not... I think what Draven's thinking is it's not worth it because he has Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster doesn't give crit. So if he has Bloodthirster and Serpent's Fang, he will only get up to 75% crit. He won't have the 100% crit rate, which is what he's trying to go for. Actually,
But
this is
Riven...
five members trying to go for the Riven here. Is Riven going to be able to get out?
To collapse on Riven, and I think maybe Riven... No, Riven's walking back. Oh, but
TP's out?
I don't think he got spotted. I think this is a guaranteed TP. And they're actually using the fact that all 5 members of RAWR were down, and they're rushing this Baron. That is an excellent call from the side of TD Blessed here.
Yes, TPX in from Awoke is going to try to get anything. It looks like all they were doing is just trying to, as soon as they get Yone TP out, they walk out. That's not a bad play for TD Blessed at all. That they knew that if they didn't TP out, Riven's going to die, and being able to force out the Yone TP.
Absolutely, but it looks like the way these teams are posturing, they're trying to fight. Riven is in a spot where maybe they can get involved, but the carries, Jonicus and Awoke are sitting far back, but we see the tanks are engaging
too far, though.
I don't think it's going to be enough as they're fighting in a really awkward spot. Shaco's trying to get a good amount of use out of his W, but kind of just fighting over nothing right there. Over nothing right now. Feathers is doing a great job of buying time. He's tanky enough to take this damage, especially when it's just a Lee Sin and Gragas. But Riven trying to find that angle in. As we see the curtain call out, they're trying to start this fight. Get it involved, as I like to say. but it looks like they're pretty tanky, and Jhin isn't the strongest. He is 7-3 and 9, so maybe I stand corrected. But the hook, it lands on the target. It lands on who it needs. We see the two-man fate sealed. It is the angle they needed as Jonas
gets the shutdown.
Riven goes in with a flash. She's exhausted, though. I don't think it's enough damage. She's able to get the combo, but she has no teammates behind her. Is she able to get Jonas? She is. There's so much shielding. I think there's an angle, but it's not enough. And it's only Physiology left alive. And I think with that smite and that combo, I think Physiology is about to go to the grave here. He's seeing a gray screen as that's the ace, and that is a great turnaround for RAWR.
I will say that was Jonas was actually able to get the shutdown there, being able to have, as if I could, not able to see, but that would have been at least a good 400-500 extra gold here, allowing him to actually buy the Executioner's Culling just so that he can kind of stop that healing from Riven, stop the healing from Gragas and stuff like that. But that's Baron over. Yes, TD Blessed does have soul, but it just wasn't enough to kind of close out that fight.
So we see the little flashy recall to finish off that Baron there, as that is a great win for the side of RAWR, right? I think, honestly, the way that fight went, it was Xerix. He was able to land that early hook on, I believe, the Lee Sin to get that started, right? They were able to get that started. They were able to get the Fate sealed, and it immediately became a 3v5. And even though this Riven is so fed, it's still 5 members you got to get through. And I don't think it was enough, and I think they got overzealous, especially when you have an exhaust on Xerix. He's able to just pop it on the Riven's head, and she loses a lot of value. Even still, though, Riven almost kind of made it work, which is the scary part.
I will say, though, what is actually a little, I'd say, scared for, I guess, both teams is Elder does come up in less than 2 minutes, and the Baron buff will expire before then. So they won't have Baron buff for this Elder fight. So it's going to be really interesting to see which team is actually going to be able to pull out the win, because this will most likely go to an Elder fight. I don't see the teams being able to get a team fight in within that time.
Yeah, 100%. As we're kind of getting to that late game stage of the game, right? It's approaching 35 minutes. There is still a 5k gold lead on the side of RAWR, right? They still have the Draven who's been getting in these cash-ins. Feathers doing an excellent job of buying space for his team. Has that shutdown, still 200 gold. And I think with this Baron stacking, you've got to be careful. This game is not over, but we see the Solar Flare goes wide, isn't able to land on the probably primary target Draven, but on the other side, Feathers is pushing in those Baron minions, and it looks like an inhibitor's on the menu for him.
Yeah, we still have 56 seconds on the Leona ult after that was used. Again, this bot lane, they're going to have to do something.
Great engage there from Xerix as he's able to get that combo off. That is what you want to see. I think one hand, he was not expecting it, and it looks like Feathers is trying to collapse here. They want to fight. They want to shut this game down, and even with Riven super far ahead, you got to be cautious. You get CC'd long enough, you're going to pop. And right now, Barbaric doing a great job, level 18 with that Roa, as the solo laners have gotten themselves involved, but they're doing a great job of using this Baron to its fullest, as Feathers is able to get the kill, doing a lot of damage to Riven, but we see another hook land onto Drop Dead. Drop Dead is not looking good here as he pops to the Echo, and right now it looks like Physiology's by himself. There's
still 20 seconds on the Jhin
here, as Xerix is landing everything. He's able to get the kill, setting up Echo for that double kill, right? We saw the angle. Jonas, he got ahead early. He set his team up for success, and with Feathers going in, setting it up, Barbaric trying to buy time, but I think that's all he uses for naught, boss man. And right now, I think this might be curtains. As we see, Jonas was able to get that early lead. Echo now sitting at 8, 4, and 10, able to get these kills. But Riven trying to make something happen, but she's exhausted, and that is too much damage. And I think TD Blessed had an angle. Riven got so far ahead, but it's not enough, and we're going to game 3 of this series.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great game by both teams there. I have to commend RAWR. They even won with TD Blessed having the Baron, or having the Elder Dragon. They didn't even push, they pushed their advantage. They saw that, hey, we have Baron, we can just keep pushing. If they kind of run away trying to stop our other Baron minions, we're just going to jump on them. So I think that was a great play, great comeback from RAWR to actually win the game there.
Absolutely. I mean, that game was slipping away from him, like you said, right? Riven was getting a ton of value on this side lane. But I honestly think the issue with that was they overgrouped a little bit, right? I think Riven is best on these side lane fights, right? Force either Feathers or Awoke to show up. They are not killing them in a one-on-one situation. Make these fights uneven, right? Riven is gonna be able to kill someone one-on-one at this point in the game. She tried to overgroup, and you know who's there waiting for her? Xerix with a depth charge, a dredge line, an exhaust on your face, and you're not gonna be able to get enough damage off, as we saw that in a lot of those fights at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, look at Feather. Feather ended the game 3-1 and 10. just the amount doesn't die, just keeps upgrading items. Again, having the upgraded IE, having the upgraded Bork, is there's just so much benefit toward that Yone was, or the Ornn was actually able to put onto the team. So
Absolutely. And I think right now that Riven is something you got to be careful of. I think that is still a champ that could be coming out for Riven, obviously. But you got to be careful picking Yone now, especially if you are RAR, right? Awoke kind of got bailed out by his team a little bit, right? Jonicus and Feathers were able to make it so that game happened. And Xerix was able to CC and lock down these primary targets. But I need to see I need to see Woke. I need to see the jungler as well. Actually, Shaco, never mind. You did pretty good, man. You got the kills. But I need to see Woke be able to stop this bleeding and make sure Riven does not get ahead in this next game.
yeah. Whereas with Jonicus being able to do so good, having the kills, it's great. Let's see. It looks like TD Blessed will be taking red side here, so this will be the first game that RAR gets the blue side. They will have first pick, so it'll be interesting to see if they do change up the draft. Maybe they don't ban the Amumu. Maybe they want to take the Amumu themselves. I still think that TD Blessed will stay with their same bands, with the Azir, with the Aurora, with the no, not Alawi and Argo side. It
Malawi was
was
R4, R5.
yes, it was Azir, Aurora, and then another champion it's
Zyra.
completely out of my
It was Zyra, I
Zyra,
think.
that's what it was. Yeah, Zyra. And then of course on the side of RAR, I do think that the Vega will come out. I do think that the the Twitch will come out, but it'll be interesting to see, do they want to ban the Amumu, or are they gonna just try to first pick Amumu?
I mean, we'll have to see, right? It's going to be both teams are kind of they're feeling the nerves, right? We had that 30-minute break, but I'm excited that we got to see this game 3, right? Both teams they want to win this. They want to not go home. They want to keep playing on Tuesday, right? They don't want that Tuesday to be free. They want to keep moving on in this tournament. And I think that is showing from all these players. I think these guys are trying to get it done. And I think we're going to have a banger game 3, maybe ties on head. Who's to say? Who's to say?
Exactly. I mean, this is just now a best of one at this point. The loser, of course, is just out. Nothing they can do. While the winner is going to be going against Angry. I am pretty sure. I think that that is going to be the lower seed to pick. So, I mean, if RAR loses here, I mean, they're going to feel really bad. They just came off from a horrible game one, but that game two, being able to claw back is just great.
I will say though, I think that probably TD Bless is a little phased. I think they saw the angle with Riven to get ahead, but I think you just gotta respect Xerix, man. I know he didn't seem as crazy on that Xerath, right? It was a little bit of an experiment pick, right? It was game one. You can get some of the cheese out of the way, but when you have that just easy engage with the Nautilus, he was doing so much work, right? Getting all the flash hooks that he needed. And I think right now it's gonna be, are we gonna let him get these like really good engage supports? Because I think if he gets an engage support, I think this is RAR series to win.
Yeah, I will say though, I think it's incredible that Xerath was actually able to kind of take that out, being that, of course, he took away the Nautilus from the Nautilus one trick. So being able to show up on the Nautilus against the one trick is incredible.
But we will have to see as we are looking at a draft trying to get started here. As draft lull is a little funny, so we don't know for sure what the end result is going to be. As it looks like we're waiting on TD Bless. They're taking a little bit, trying to regroup, rearm themselves, get ready for this game 3. As I would be doing the same, right? It's a lot of pressure, right? You got all the audience trying to cheer you on, right? Maybe you got channel points on the line, some insider betting, who's to say? But we'll have to see. This has been a great series so far. I mean, well, at least a great game 2. But I think we're finally in that draft.
Yep, so we'll see. I think RAR will, of course, first ban that Viego. Viego has not been played, same with the Azir, because having Shaco on that Viego is not going to be fun to see. Having, of course, Riven on the Azir, funny enough, is not going to be fun to see for the enemy, that is. So, of course, we do see the Viego ban. That is going to be expected, and we will most likely see, again, an Azir ban as well coming out for the side of TD Blessed.
Yeah, Awoke has done crazy things with the bird. It is definitely going to be this first ban. I'm honestly expecting the first 3
No.
bans to stay the same. Technically, Aurora was in those first 3. It's just a bit of a different order. Maybe they're teasing Awoke a little bit, being like, hey, maybe we'll leave your Azir up, but I think it's still probably going to end up in those first 3.
Yes, it would be funny if they didn't and just see that unless they have something cooking to go against his Azir, there's not gonna be much they can do. Again, as soon as Azir gets late game, he's a powerhouse. So for the side of RAR, I am expecting a Twitch ban here. Of course, that is what we've seen for the last 2 games as the second ban, and it will come out here. And of course, we are hoping to see a well, we'd love to see Azir not get banned to see just how well Awoken can pilot,
I
but
can't
that is
believe
the
you
ban.
said it. You cursed it, man. Awoke is not getting his Azir. He has put too much time on the champion, and he's getting punished for it. Unfortunate. I wanted to see it. I love a good Shurima shuffle, but it's not happening this side. And on the other side, One Hand is not getting his space gliding rat. He's not going to be able to make anything happen, but the Braum ban actually comes out. You know what that's telling me, Launches? I think a Nautilus is a potential first pick here for RAR.
I think that is a great thing. So I think Blessed might want to ban the Nautilus actually. Keep it, but that does mean that the Zyra is going to be picked. It depends what's scarier for them. Do they want the Nautilus on the Rift? Do they want the Zyra on the Rift? But the other thing is, I'm surprised RAR has not banned the Amumu actually. For the if with that, that means Amumu's up, and
Oh,
actually Blessed will actually ban the Amumu on
you
their
did it
side.
again. You know your stuff, man. But we're gonna have to see. I think with that Braum ban, that is a change. I'm
Zyra's up.
It is Nazira up. I think we're actually seeing
Huh?
first pick Ornn. Okay, Feathers. He said he did a pretty good job last time. He said, "Hey, I'll do it again. I'll be that rock. I'll be that wall." And we're gonna have to see. I'm surprised to see top lane first pick. I know I've seen RAR do it a couple times in the past, but this time it's a little bit more of a blindable top laner. So I'm kind of excited to see it.
Yeah. Now I would love to see Barbaric go something more damage heavy. Maybe go for and his Urgot is up, right? It looks like he's just gonna go Gragas, but I pick out the Vayne. If you really want to be evil, pick out the Vayne. Be able to just poke out the Ornn as much as you can.
I
But
think
that is not the
Barbaric,
best.
he's going back to his roots, right? He was like, I'm just gonna play. They're both, I guess both top laners are kind of handshaking this lane phase. They're just gonna farm up, right? And they just want to be those big tanks for their team. I think they want to see these carries in the 80 carry position. Maybe the jungle, right? We saw Lisa and Echo last time. Those are pretty, they need their gold to get the job done. And on the other side, we see Yone priority. It's shown up all 3 games, and I think TD Blessed. Riven wants this Yone back.
Mm-hmm. Now I am surprised that they actually did drop the Nautilus here. I actually would have said it would have been better to actually pick your main carry physiology with that Nautilus, right? But looks like they're not going to. They're going to pick the Gragas. Of course, the Gragas first. I would have said dropping Gragas to maybe R3 would have been better, but and they're deciding it, which just means that RAR can pick away the Nautilus, pick back. Oh, they might just go for a
Ooh.
Zyra Khan though.
I think Zyra Khan's possible. I still think that I still think that Zaya can pair with the Nautilus. I think it's possible. We'll have to see if it's gonna be. I think you should go Nautilus here if you're Xerix. You did so good with it last game. You're feeling confident. It's a great takeaway from physiology. Are we gonna see it, or is it gonna happen?
We'll see here in about 2 seconds here. I think though the Rakan still, of course, really good, and it looks like it just will be that Rakan here. That just means that the knockup from Ornn, the knockup from Rakan, that's going to be non-cleansable CC, and that's going to be really, really hard to go out of.
I'm very real. I'm actually really surprised to see that because you know what's a really good counter into Rakan? It's Nautilus. And they've just given Nautilus over, but they maybe
I
I'm just
just
out
don't
of it.
want to drop AD.
Maybe maybe they just don't like the champion as much as I thought. But I mean, Jinx is still really strong on the patch, and I think it does well into the Zaya especially. So that's what they're gonna go with this time.
Yeah, I'm looking back at it at Physiology's games. He actually hasn't played Nautilus in the last month. Actually,
Oh, I'm a
he
silly
he
goose.
has. Yeah, he actually hasn't touched it. The last time he played it was over a month ago. Yeah, so that's kind of weird to see that. I feel that Physiology's is like, yeah, Nautilus is okay, but it's just not in the meta right now, so it doesn't actually do anything.
I mean, I guess, but when you see the champ, it doesn't do as well into Zaya, but specifically into the Rakan, it really shuts him down. It doesn't let him get around, move around, get that quickness off, because that is what you get a lot of value with is being slippery on this engaged support. And Nautilus, he's got the depth charge, he's gonna lock you down. And I'm very surprised, honestly, to not even see it banned from the side of RAR. I think if it gets this late, if you could get
There it
Nautilus
is,
over,
though.
but there it is. Okay. Thank goodness I was gonna have a little bit of an aneurysm if it somehow made it this far in the draft.
Exactly. Of course, with the Jinx, Nautilus is not the worst. I actually want to see if they're actually gonna Rar's gonna kind of prioritize a Leona ban. Actually, of course, we've seen Leona in the last game doing okay. But we'll see here. We saw the Victor ban here. New ban coming out. Of course, having that AP mid lane is going to be really important, especially with the Zaya and Ornn kind of mid top. But it's going to be interesting to see what jungler they actually pick. What jungle mid prior they're going to have here.
As we see, Garen is the next ban for the side of TD Blessed. But launches, I was thinking about it. Nautilus was his most played, but you know what that second most played support was for him? It was Lulu. And Jinx really loves playing with that Enchanter support, right? Someone who
Hmm.
can polymorph the Rakan going in, give it a little bit of safety. And if this Jinx gets to late game with a Yone and a Gragas to follow it up, I think that is the pick. I think Lulu's coming out right now.
Yeah, I do think Jarvan's a little interesting. I think that Jarvan pick, and there's the Lulu, is like you just said earlier. But I think this Jarvan ban, I think that's just kind of signaling that they have an idea of what they want to pick. I think that's a counter ban there for what they're going to be picking in this next 4 or 5 here.
Hmm. I think it does do well into the Zaya, right? She cannot use her Blade Storm or Blade Feathers to get away from it, right? You are immune, but you can't move out of it. So it's a decent ban trying to buy a little bit more safety for the Zaya, but right now I'm kind of liking the way TD Blessed has set themselves up, right? There isn't a ton of threat onto this Jinx, but TF is able to enable it, maybe go for a
Hmm.
sneaky gold card and find a way on.
Yeah, I think that's really great because again, you have a having a gourd card onto the Lulu and then forcing the Rakan onto the Jinx, the knockup from Warren. There's no way the Jinx can get out without flashing, and even then, it's going to be really hard to do. So I think that TF is really, of course, trying to lock down the Jinx, but also just locking down the Lulu so she can't actually get the polymorph and ult off.
Absolutely. And it looks like the last pick is going to be jungle for both sides, which I'm very surprised by. But we see Udyr
Weird.
come out as the
Okay.
response here for RAWR. I think he does get a little bit of value, but he kind of gets slowed down by Lulu. And when Jinx gets excited, she's going to be able to run away. She's pretty freaking fast. So we're going to see what the response is. I think Udyr is pretty solid, but I think there is stuff that can shut it down.
Yes, it's gonna be interesting to see what TD Bless plays here. Of course, most junglers that they previously played are off. Of course, I think that Jarvan is a great ban there. It's just a great champ to kind of like to have for the lockdown. But we might see the Echo. We might see, of course, Lee Sin's off the table. But,
As we don't see anything. So we're going to have
oh,
to
I guess
see
it's a
what they
4v5, guys.
Man, yeah, I hope not on this game three. As they
Olaf.
end up locking in the Olaf, is what we found. That is kind
That's
of
a good. I think that's a
pretty
good
good pick.
flex pick though, because now you have again you have Gragas jungle or you have the Gragas top. I mean, Barbaric has played Olaf in the past, doesn't do bad. Drop has played. Well, I don't see a single Olaf game, but he probably plays it. So it'd be interesting to see if that's going to be a flex, kind of a again, a Gragas jungle Olaf top or an Olaf jungle Gragas top. We'll see that if what happens there.
I think it's up for debate, but I think right now Olaf is a good pick in a vacuum. But we have to account for the top lane matchup that's been going on these past two games, right? Feathers, even though he lost game one, was absolutely dumpstering Barbaric, right? He was up 30 farm as Cho'Gath in the counter matchup. And I think when you're on the line, you're putting your counter pick, you're putting the pick that's going to be able to deal with that comp in the top laner's hands. I think that's really scary.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here. I do think that Olaf might be a good pick top lane, kind of because as we saw, the Ornn destroyed Gragas in that game. So it'll be interesting to see. Are they just going to try to run it back, or are they going to have to kind of like shake it up, having Gragas be able to like roam around, having especially when it hits level 6, being able to like stop the twisted TF, stop the Zaya, kind of stopping like the twist of fate ult there would be great.
Twisted TF. I'm sorry. But yeah, I completely agree. And we'll have to see as they're getting their bands out. They're making sure we lock it in. As we're gonna cut to break and hopefully be back for a banger game 3 to finish off this series.
Yep, but before we do it, we have to see is the Gragas. It looks like it will be Gragas top though this time. So it looks like they are just gonna run back the Ornn Gragas, just like before.
Oh, actually, I didn't even consider that. It is actually going to be. Never mind. I'm completely wrong. It's going to be Olaf in the jungle. You're very right. Never mind. We're gonna. I think that gets a little more value. Actually, I'm a little more happier with that Olaf pick here.
But
But now
with
we'll
that,
cut to.
yep, we'll cut to break. So see you guys in game 3.
In the dark, take my hand and bring me back.
was a lonely silhouette, needed somebody to show the way. Yeah, I was a heartbeat with no sound till you came around. Yeah, you showed me colors, light in the darkness. You were the only thing I needed. Then we got older, but we stayed the same. Swear that we never lost the flame. Nostalgia, you're an echo in my head. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, nostalgia, don't you ever slip away. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, what if the years turn into gold? The longer we live, yeah, the more we grow. We could be 100 miles apart, but it's never far. Yeah, you show me colors, light in the darkness. You were the only thing I needed. Then we got older, but we stayed the same. Swear that we never lost the flame. No, nostalgia, you're an echo in my head. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, nostalgia, don't you ever slip away. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, like a symphony of our memories. Oh, nostalgia, don't you ever slip away. Oh, nostalgia, like a symphony of our memories. Oh,
We have made it to the end. We have made it to game 3 of this elimination series between RAWR, Sentinel, and TD Blessed. It's all on the line here. We're going to see what team is going to come up and show out here. Who's going to come out on top? Launch, what are you thinking?
I mean, I think it's going to be a good game, but I am really questioning Awoke's build here. ADTF, when you have more of a tank jungler, tank top, I don't think that's really worth it. You need the AP damage.
I think maybe you're thinking you can get value here. You can get a lot of damage, like damage that'll stick onto Riven, but I'm kind of getting deja vu from game one a little bit, right? We see that Cole start on the TF as well. That's looking really similar to what happened with that Corki. But this time,
Yeah.
you don't have a Valkyrie to get out of some sticky situations here, and we really got to be careful with what this mid lane's going to have in store.
Yeah, already though, Olaf. I guess Olaf didn't buy pots here. That's a little interesting. I guess just wants a little extra gold, unless he already used it, which would be a little sad. A little unfortunate there. He won't have the sustain for later, but those
So
wards come down with
Alino,
much.
I do know a lot of junglers. So Olaf, especially, he gets a lot of benefits from being low HP on his clear. Right, he
Ah,
gets
yes.
from his
Okay.
passive, he gets more damage
Oh,
the
knock up.
lower he is on HP, as we do see now. But we were talking about the care, but I don't think it's going to matter as Xerix finds the engage on the one hand. No sums were burned, but that's a really good trade as Jonicus takes a little bit in return as well. But yeah, that might be the reason he didn't buy that nice flash. But
Oh,
we see
knock him again,
Xerix
though?
going in with the grand entrance, trying to get something here. But it's going to be enough as Physiology's doing a great job of whittling him down, using picks to her advantage. As there's just been a lot of action already at 2 minutes in this bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, and Lulu still acts physiology. Oh, actually, walk in has level 2. Advantage
level
here does
2.
miss it.
You don't have the easiest engage. I think they got to be a little cautious. They're zoned off the wave, though, for the side of RAWR. So I don't think anything crazy is going to happen here.
Shaco is in the area though.
Shaco on the Udyr. He's looking. I think you got to be careful. He's relatively fast at this point, but Xerix is dinged level 2. He's looking for this engage. He's able to find Physiology. And I think with the feathers coming out, we don't see the recall, but it's a flash for flash. And the heal from Physiology is able to buy enough time. And Shaco, not able to get there in time, has to walk away.
I will say though, that's actually going to be really beneficial here, just because, yes, the Lulu flash is gone, the Lulu heal is gone, but you still have flash on the Jinx. You still have barrier on the Jinx, so it's not like the worst thing that could happen. So I think for this, I think that RAWR is gonna, or sorry, TD Bless is gonna kind of take that. But on the top lane though, Feathers is just destroying Barbaric here.
Oh my goodness, right? There is a lot going on, and Feathers is benefiting. He has been kind of the unsung hero of a lot of these games, right? He's getting these leads constantly. He's putting pressure on Barbaric, right? And it's honestly, Ornn, he's pretty low HP, but, you know, he might just buy himself a little item, go in that brush, get a Ruby Crystal for himself, as he has a lot of sustain in these lanes. But speaking of the sustain, the Doran Shield with the Fleet Footwork on Yone is a lot more valuable than Fleet Footwork on a range champion at this point.
Yeah, I will say though, they do know that that Olaf was at least bot lane, just because they do have that ward kind of in that bot bush, and of course now they do find Olaf. They do now know that he's rotating up, and Olaf should be spotted on the scuttle crab as well.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit too late. He was going for the cheeky double scuttle here, but I think he's going to realize, hey, there's nothing really up. He gets the ward to try to see if maybe there's a blue buff up, but Shaco, he's like, no, I'm definitely going to get it done. As it looks like Olaf is going to be the first person to get their recall off. He has a little bit of a tempo advantage over this Udyr, as Udyr showed going for that gank bot. So we'll see, but Feathers going for an engage, but I don't think you have enough mana to finish that off, as he's just going to try to force this wave in and maybe look for a reset at this point.
Yeah, I think of course the mana here. Oh, doesn't look like Feathers gonna commit. Does not have enough mana to kind of get that jump in. Udyr is near that mid lane. Or do we see like kind of the pings coming down? But I don't think it's gonna be much. Ooh, misses it actually. Misses his blue card onto a minion and not actually Yone. So you don't actually get the damage down.
Not enough damage, but hey, you're getting the mana back at least, so it's not the end of the world. But what might be the end of the world is this Shaco champ. He's kind of hanging out. Not the champ, but the actual guy named Shaco. He's actually on Udyr. He's hanging out. He's looking to see if Riven's going to go for that Q3 in on Awoke. But I think Awoke's got to be a little cautious here. Got to be careful, but we see if he's going to do it. As it looks like he's going for it, but that gold card, it lands, and the Fate Sealed comes out. You gotta run. You gotta run. He used the E. He's trying to buy enough space, but Shaco is not in range to get the stun. He gets it off, but I think he's not in a position, and I don't think Awoke has the mana either. And with Dead coming up, I think Riven's in an okay spot.
Ooh, misses the shield though, so he still has to kind of takes down some of his HP, but it's not going to be the worst here. Of course, this game has been way less bloody, way less active than, of course, the last 2 games, already having kills at this point. Actually, already having 4+ kills at this point.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's a little bit of a slower one from the other games we've seen so far, but hey, a slower game means this one might go the distance. But we're not seeing some
Oh.
aggressive here, so aggressive tendencies, but we're actually seeing a TP come out from a Woke. He's trying to buy his Physiology time, but Physiology is going to fall. And Rakan picks
Oh,
that first
but
blood out.
that's-
Two-man fate sealed. We're seeing it constantly. But does Riven have the follow-up damage? TF is here. He was able to get that ultimate off the Destiny, but one hand is getting a lot of damage. She's excited. Is she going to be able to get enough damage off on Shaco? I think with
I think
Olaf in the
so.
area, it's enough. We get a double, not a double. We get a lot of KP on the side of one hand, but he's still able to pick up one kill at the end of the day.
I mean, that was a great play. Of course, we saw the TF kind of ult in there trying to get anything done, but they wasn't able to do much. They are able to kind of secure the kill on the Lulu, but that's just, they go too far. The Yone is able to kind of come in TP and just save the fight.
Yeah, that was a great play there from Riven to kind of buy their team time, give by a little bit of space, make sure that one hand is able to not get punished at this early spot. Because Jinx, she's a bit of a scaler if you don't know about League of Legends, so you got to be
Oh,
careful.
Lulu's in the area though, as you can see. Lulu looks like they're gonna try to like do it. They do have ult on this Gragas though, but they're
you
so
gotta be
low.
careful if you're Barbaric. He's too low, and I think while Lulu's annoying, I don't think she has enough to actually kill. As we see Physiologist coming here, trying to buy Barbaric a little bit of time, trying to get this wave crashed in so that Barbaric can get out of here because he is chunked right now. And I think at this point, you kind of need that little bit of support as we see the body slam is able to get him away, and Barbaric looks like he's going to be forced to base on a really not good wave state.
Yeah, and the problem is he also doesn't have TP, so he has to walk back to lane pretty slowly. Now, if we look at this bot lane here, of course, there are no sums on the Xayah, no sums on the Rakan. It's going to be interesting to see if Dad wants to actually kind of rotate down here. Of course, he is going up top. Looks like he's going to try to at least get some grubs here under their name, so that they do have the Jinx pushing power. But still I think that having Dead kind of bot lane here, trying to punish the no flash Xayah, no flash Rakan is actually going to be beneficial.
Yeah, 100%. And right now, it looks like one hand is happy to pick up this massive wave. Jonicus does have a bit of a CS lead at the end of the day, so that is something. But with this Rakan having the kill, I think that is not where you want the gold to be, right? Jonicus doesn't have that early game lead that he did on that Draven. It's not the exact same, and I think right now you got to be careful. You got to find some angles early here if you are RAWR.
Yeah, now we do see that Xayah does have ultimate first, so that's going to be interesting to see if that's going to lead to something. Are they going to try to jump in early? But it doesn't look like, at least as of yet, they're going to, because the wave is pushing into TD Blast. So, and it looks like TD Blast will just try to go for go for the grubs, but Shaco and Feathers are in the area. They do spot it.
As we do see, these grubs are going to be contested as Olaf is
Ult
going
comes
into
out.
Ragnarok, right? He's trying to find Shaco, and it looks like he's going to be able to pick this
Fate
one
Seal
up.
misses,
He's
though.
getting involved. The Ornn comes out. He's just trying to lifesteal off these grubs, and it looks like he's buying enough time, but Riven is the one who's going to fall. And with that, we see that the Olaf falls too, and the grubs are picked up by Shaco. That is a huge win for RAWR.
Exactly. I mean, as you saw, Xerax was able to kind of just walk up. I mean, yes, and now you put a 2v1. Yeah, Jinx can push, but that's 2 kills going over to RAWR. It's not worth it. I think Lulu
Absolutely.
definitely was kind of more greedy, thinking, "Oh, we need the wave here." Probably should have walked up with Xerax, but decides not to.
100%, right? Psychology choosing to stay with her Jinx, trying to make sure that this Jinx is going to get late where they want to be, right? This Jinx, when she gets to 2 items, maybe 3 items, that's kind of where it really locks in, right? That's when this game becomes really hard. Because Xayah, she gets a lot of value off of these champs running into her, but realistically, it's kind of just Yone. And it is Olaf, but that recall isn't going to stop a Ragnaroking Olaf coming in your face. He's going to be running you down.
I will say, this is actually interesting. That is not ADTF. That is actually a ROA built onto TF. So that is a little different from what we were expecting previously, but...
He kind of salvaged it. I was a little worried about that ADTF. I think it's the gold card TF gets some value as he's able to kind of use all of his abilities, but ADTF was kind of fun while it lasted. I think it was a little annoying to watch as Zeus was using it a little too well top lane in LCK, but we're actually
too
seeing
well
now,
or losing every game. Actually, though,
Physiology finds the angle here as Riven is able to get that Q3 off. It's a lot of damage, and with Physiology, it's even more. But we see Feathers just going to get that grass trade. I think they're too tanky to actually kill each other up top. So every time I go up there, I'm hopeful. But I think we're not going to end up seeing what we want to see this time.
No.
As we're going to have to guess what is the case. But right now, Riven, he's up a kill. Even though there is a Cole stacking on the side of a Woke, I think Riven is in a pretty good spot with this Yone pick.
Yeah, of course, has a kill. Yeah, he's died 1 time, but he has a kill, 2 assists. I mean, he doesn't have an item yet. He still has to back for one. I think that he should hopefully get it soon. He has, if TS is able to get the ROA, he should be able to get an item at least soon. Yeah, he is up in CS, but actually Shaco's in the area though.
As we see, the gold card does land onto Riven, but you use the face shield in front of a Yone, and with that face shield miss, I think you
Flashed
are
in?
getting CC
Yeah.
locked. Xerix coming in to finish off the kill. Not what you want to see, but that was actually a great CC chain from the side to get that kill on Riven.
And of course, we do see Collector for this Jin, or sorry, the Jinx. I'm actually gonna be interested to see, is this going to be the lethality Jinx that has been kind of in the meta for 14, 18? I don't think it's a good idea, being that you have the Udyr, have the Ornn on the other side, and of course, Rakan's gonna try to build a little more tanky here. But I mean, if one hand wants to go for it, I mean, it's in the meta at least. It's not gonna be the worst, but.
Hey, I mean, I kind of agree with you, to be honest. I think while Collector Jinx is fun, I kind of think it isn't the best here, right? The only targets you get value on, you get value on TF, I guess, in Xayah, but
Roa.
you got to be careful. And Roa, yeah, but that is health. That's not armor, so it's not the end of the world, but still, I think right now you just kind of, you can get away with just building the standard build. You get the Infinity Edge, you get a Zeal item, but maybe we're not
TP in
going to
though?
see that. Maybe he knows more, but we see that
Canceled.
Drop Dead.
The TP was canceled. TP was actually canceled.
TP was canceled, so it looks like there isn't going to be that engage we saw, but it looks like all the members are positioning bot side here, trying to get something happening as they are pinging aggressively. We see that Awoke is coming in with the ultimate. He is able to land on one hand, but they're fighting in the most awkward spot imaginable.
Doesn't
And
have face
Ragnarok
steal
is
either.
absolutely murdering Awoke, and it looks like this is a disaster for
Oh
this
my
side of
God.
RAWR. This Ragnarok Olaf, he's able to get the double kill, and with an excited Jinx, I think it's going to be a 4-for-0 with a triple kill on Olaf.
I thought that fight wasn't gonna go well. I mean, Yone did not have the TP, didn't have the Fate Seal, but of course Olaf was just able to run in, use Stride Breaker, and just delete them with Ragnarok.
Absolutely. And I mean, that is not what you want to see if you are RAWR, right? The carries in this game, you need Xayah to be ahead. And right now, she does not have a kill under her belt. But as always, Feather's doing a great job of trying to buy his time. But for the first time in a while, I am seeing that Gragas is actually up farm on the Goatman, which I'm pretty happy to see.
And while also being very low on health here as well.
It's true. He does have a little bit of sustain, as actually does a great job of body slamming to keep him in the tower. Wait, he's actually doing a great job of making sure this fight happens. I think Barbaric
but he
has an
does
angle
lose
here,
Tiger
but
aggro,
this is a
though.
lot of damage. He's actually
Oh, he actually gets it!
God, he gets the kill! I've been talking trash about this guy this whole time, but he absolutely steps up when he needs to for his team.
I mean, that was a great play by Barbaric, able to have the ult perfectly hit. I even thought that ult was gonna miss. It looked like it wasn't in the right area, but he actually makes it. And that's just a solo kill for Barbaric. I think Ornn, if Ornn didn't die there, Ornn was going to be able to scale, but I think that kind of puts Gragas back in the game and kind of has the life of TD Blessed here.
I think that was a fantastic play there, right? I think that Feathers was kind of disrespecting Barbaric in the series, right? He probably knows that he's been feeling pretty good. He's been doing well, but Gragas stepping up there, knowing his champion, knowing that he can keep Ornn under the tower there. And Ornn, he fell. And I think right now, this is what Barbaric needs. And this is a really good sign for TD Blessed in this game.
I mean, look at bot lane. I mean, Jinx has an item, and Xayah still doesn't. She's not able to build her. I'm going to assume. Usually on Xayah, I used to go Kraken Slayer. I've kind of lost what. Oh, no, it doesn't look like there's gonna be much there. But Xayah is probably building.
You know, it could be. I think it is Essence Reaver. Looking
It's
at,
Essence Reaver?
I would assume it's Essence Reaver, just with that is Caulfield's and Cloak. But I think the BF sort is what she's holding back on, right? She doesn't have. She has about 1,000 gold, but it doesn't matter right now. As Shaco looks to be potentially caught out, we see Olaf is getting involved here, trying to find the angle, but that Blast Gun's going to make sure that they get out. As Riven is trading aggressively onto Feathers here, but with Feathers pretty close to his tower, I don't think that Q3 is going to be enough, as that pillar isn't going to stop him, but. It gives.
This is going to turn into a 4v5 unless Barbaric is actually going to TP. Barbaric has a TP here because all 5 members of RAWR are here.
I think he's
Knockup
gotta
only
look, as we
hits
see the
2
ult.
actually.
Yeah, the ultimate comes out as Riven misses the Fate Sealed, but we see 4 members all clumped together. They actually get the kill on one hand, but Riven is not touched. He gets a
Look at the Ragnarok, look
3-man
at the Ragnarok.
Q3. He's getting so much value. This Olaf also in the back is just an unsung hero. He's getting so much done. And even though one hand falls, this is an absolutely great fight for the side of TD Blast. I think this Olaf is unleashed at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's that. So like you said, it is an essence reaver for the Zaya, but okay, that was a 1v3 there. I mean, I don't think that was worth it for what I assumed to be. Yeah, it was just gonna be the Herald. So that is Herald picked up for the side of RAWR, yes, but you lose 3 members.
I mean, yeah, it's not great, but Awoke, he has to be careful here, right? This is a moment where he could potentially get burst. Olaf is doing a lot of damage, and especially when you don't land your gold card, but Xerix getting the
I think it's gonna be
engage
down for the
onto
crit,
Olaf.
though.
I think he takes the tower. That is a great play. Jonik picked up a massive shutdown.
Yeah, but that's a 400 gold shutdown to the Zaya, the person who you need to be fed. Oh no, no, that's. Do you see what I see in Jinx's inventory?
I see another serrated Dirk. This time I'm not as sad about it being on a Yone. I think opportunity is an item that she could get away with building. I think at this point though, after that item, you gotta go crit. I really think that the angle here is you go with the just standard build. Right? She
Yeah,
got that attack speed buff. She feels really, really good with the standard items at 3 minutes. Or 3 items. And I think with the way this game is going, it's a little spicy, but I think you can get there.
Yeah, I think that here, I mean, I think Jinx should just, I would have said Jinx build IE second. Right? IE is still a good item, and well, it got a little more expensive, but it's not the worst.
We
But
see Feathers
still,
is actually getting an aggressive trade onto Riven. I think Riven has to be a little cautious, but he's okay this time as we're seeing a little bit of a battle over Vision here, as it looks like the next Drake is going to be spawning. It is going to be a Hextech Drake, which means that the gates are
Soul.
open.
Yep.
Gates are unlocked. That's my favorite map, right? You get so much mobility and just a lot of movement, maybe some cheeky flanks, but we're going to see where this Drake ends up going, as Jonas is a little bit unlocked, as he does have his Essence Reaver complete, right? The only gold lead now to the side of one hand is he has the Dirk over Jonas. So this is still a pretty close fight, but right now I'm still looking at the Olaf, man. Even though he did give over that shutdown, he still has 6 kills.
yeah, I mean, this Olaf, he of course doesn't have second item yet. I'm actually interested to see what he is looking to pick up here, but I mean,
What I'm interested in though is this Rift Herald, Shelly, trying to buy a little bit of time for the members of RAWR to go for this dragon. But we see the TP is coming out from Riven, but we see a counter TP. There's going to be a battle here, I'm thinking, as Shaco is trying to find it. But we find, actually, Barbaric is a little bit isolated from the rest of his team. We're seeing a really weird matchup here as 4 members are kind of corralled in by the top laners. They're a little bit scared. Ornn is in the background. Gragas is in the background.
Watch
I
the
think they're
Fate
going for the
Steel
engage, but Xerix is pulling the trigger as he's able
hits
to
only
avoid the
one on
combo.
it, though.
He's
Hits
trying
a
to
woke.
target. He finds one hand, but one hand is flashing out. Shaco is on the target. One hand is excited. Does he have the space? We
Triple
see
knock
Jonas
by
goes
Ornn.
for the flash recall. It's not going to be enough, and one hand falls. Shaco's able to get the kill. As we see, Olaf on the other side is able to pick up the Ornn. Honestly, this is
Ghost
not
by
a really
Olaf,
good
though. This
spot
is
if you're
Ghost.
RAWR. They are in no man's land as there is an Olaf on the loose, but Goose is loose as he's able to land the body slam onto Jonas, giving Riven the kill. And even
Does
though
he get the kill?
Xerix gets
No, the shield comes
engage,
out.
it's not enough, and that is a double kill. And now this Olaf is so close to that 10 kill spike.
I mean, that definitely was gonna hurt for Xerax at the end. It wasn't able to get that auto attack off on that Lulu and able to get the shield up. It just doesn't allow for the Lulu to die, and Lulu is just, it's gonna be so annoying. It's gonna be interesting to see, are they gonna actually try to get the Serpent's Fang just because of the shield on Yone, shield on Lulu, and the shield on Lulu for everyone else, I guess, at that point.
Completely agree. And I know we were talking about the value of the Jinx here, but honestly, this Olaf is the unsung hero, right? The Jinx, they got popped, right? They tried to focus it down, but Olaf on the other side, he said, hey, Bazinga, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to kill your carries, and then I'm going to go for the tanks afterwards, right? I'm going to get it done, and he is so far ahead. He has those 2 items completed already, the Stridebreaker, the Sundered Sky, the Ragnarok. Bro Sidon himself is getting it done.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what if this Olaf can stay, because this looks like the same as last game, of course. But it was Riven last game that was really ahead. But this game, it's looking like it's all Olaf. But are they gonna be able to actually close it out? That's the real question.
I think that it is possible here. You got to be still careful, right? Xayah is able to provide a lot of damage, especially if you're choosing to hyper engage into her, right? But I just think Olaf has so much value. The Ragnarok is so powerful here, right? It basically counters this TF champion. The TF champ can't do anything, but you know who can't do anything? I think One Hand is dead as the E recall is just going to pick up the kill, and I think they're going to be able to pick up an objective cap bounty on this turret here. And it is, and that's a little bit of gold over on the side of RAWR there. But we see the gold card comes in. Xerix is not able to get the card, but we do see it forces out the TP from Barbaric, so not the end of the world.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they are going to be looking to go for this Baron, of course, but it doesn't look like they're going to. I would have thought having kind of pressuring them to, maybe they kind of put they put TD Blessed kind of in a bad spot, but at least they do get rid of the TP for Barbaric, but Riven might be dead here.
Is a little out of position here as 4 members of 5 actually are in the mood. I don't think Riven's going to be able to TP out of this one as he's trying to buy time, but he actually chooses a flash engage there. Fate sealed, and the Gradius cast
they
actually buys him out. That is crazy that he lived there. But now we're seeing a Woke forced to use TP to keep this alive. I think if the members of TD Bless see it, they do. This is really bad. They're in a 5v4, but Riven isn't that Fate sealed. He's going to have to go back eventually. So it looks like the members of RAWR are going to be able to run away from this one, but that was actually really scary for RAWR.
I think in that fight, I mean, Olaf didn't have Ghost there. He wasn't able to actually do anything. But they're starting Baron though.
They are starting Baron. Awoke is still on the bottom. He's going to take that tier 1, but I don't think that matters at the end of the day. I think you have a fight going on, but now we see the engage onto Shaco. That is the target that's a little interesting to see, but we see Gragas trying to land the flick here. But Yone trying to buy space for his team. The W doesn't hit, but that's okay. I think it's enough, but it does get the team off of Baron. Xerix is trying to buy space for his team, make that space. He's doing a good job, but looks like nothing's going to end up coming from it. And actually, Awoke's able to get that tower uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, but like, look at the scoreline here. You have Gragas hasn't died yet. You have the Olaf as at a 9-2-5. I mean, that's just going to be so hard for RAWR to actually do anything later in the game. There are objective bounties, but I don't think it's going to be enough, though.
I do agree. I think the gold is surprisingly close for what these score lines do look like, right? I think that shutdown, just the objective bounties, the shutdowns that have gone over to the way of RAWR is not awful. They are still very behind. I can't deny that, but I think this game is a little closer than it appears. Those objective bounties are really valuable, but I think it's really dependent on this Xayah just not dying in these fights. If she's able to keep staying in these fights, get as many feathers up as possible, there's a glimmer of hope here for RAWR.
Yeah, well, my league crashed. Give me a sec. It's weird that it did that. Oh, I'm back now. Cool. No, I mean, here, as we can see, the Jinx did pick up the opportunity here, but looking at it, they has 2 longswords. I wonder if this is going to be actually another...
Maybe fully validated, but we see Jodicus gets caught out, and she does a great job of dodging. With the ultimate, the Fate Seal does not land, as Riven is down, but Ragnarok, he's in, he's going, bro! As he gets the Polymorph, he gets the Gigantamax, as he's in, he's doing too much damage, and with the CC from One Hand, Olaf is going crazy!
And that is just going to be Soul Point already, and it looks like they're just going to go for Baron as well. They're going to just make the Yone just go get the soul while the rest of the members just take up Baron. I mean, then after that, all they have to do is push. TF is in the area, could stop the river, could stop Riven from taking it. Same with Xayah though.
I think Riven's in a bit of trouble. I think this Drake could potentially go over, but actually, Feathers is doing a good job of trying to buy time. Actually, it's Barbaric. I'm silly. Actually, it looks like that TP was canceled. Was it canceled by the Baron? I don't know actually what canceled, but it didn't matter. Riven actually picks up the double kill with the outplay and is able to pick up the Dragon. They're able to pick up the Baron. This is a disaster. And right now they are sad. This Yone absolutely stepped up where needed. Riven has been putting on a clinic today.
I mean, that's all. We're already at a 6K gold lead at 24 minutes, and they're just going to keep going. They're just going to kill.
Able to get the cast. That is a great engage there. That's what we want to see. We were wanting to see that in game 2, but right now he's stepping up in game 3 where it really matters. TD Blessed are on the verge. They have so much gold in their pockets, right? That 2K gold lead, now 7K.
As well.
They have it. They might be able to go in. We see Riven is going in, trying to buy space for his team. He's going back, but One Hand, Jinx, when she gets excited, has a lot of pressure on these bases, but it looks like, are they going to keep going for more? But Xerix is trying to find an angle.
All 4 people knocked up.
Misses though. We see Xerix is trying to buy space for his team, but Jodicus is gonna fall. Riven is dominating. Jinx is alive, and she is doing well. Yone's able to pick up 2. This is not what we want to see. This was the game where this Olaf, this Yone, absolutely went unleashed. this is the end. It looks like TD Blessed are going to find the win. They're going to find themselves in semifinals, and they are going to find themselves with another Tuesday to play League of Legends.
Yes. Oh my! That Udyr, or sorry, that Olaf was so low. Yet in the end, having that Lulu ult, having the Lulu shield, was able to protect him. That was insane. A great
And I
game to
mean,
close it off. Props to RAWR there for lasting that long, able to hold off, especially against that Olaf.
absolutely. And I mean, that was a great game to see, right? I know we talked about just how hyped the Jinx would be, but at the end of the day, like the Lulu and Jinx were still strong, but Riven and Drop Dead were getting it done. And they were able to get so much damage, right? This Yone was able to do the most damage in the game, 23k damage. That's a lot of damage. And on the other side, right? I also want to shout out Barbaric. He stepped up so big when it mattered, right?
Oh
Getting
yeah.
that solo kill on Feathers, that absolutely put them behind. Feathers was their rock, and as soon as he falls, I just feel like the mental just is very boomed at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Feather was kind of their one carry. You see, Barbaric didn't even die that entire game. Having those great ultimates, stopping some of the TPs, stopping kind of the engage, stop like the Ornn ult into the TF ult, Zaya ult, all the wombo combos. The ult was just able to stop it and just kind of save some of those fights so that TD could actually turn it around and again eventually win.
I mean, great show for both teams here. It is unfortunate that we have to see RAR go, right? I've loved watching this team, right? They put up a hell of a fight, right? That game 2 was spicy. They did a great job of making sure that that Riven champion on Riven wasn't going to get ahead, but they just weren't able to close out the series today. I think a lot of it was jitters. It also was unfortunate that we had to have that delay. I don't know if that affected mentals. I think I would be a little sad too, but still, they put on a great show for everybody here today. I think they can go home not super sad, right? You put up a hell of a fight, guys. Good shit. I really want to see you guys back. You guys are rock stars.
Yeah, but with that, that means TD Blessed will go on to the next round, and they will most likely face Angry in that first best of five
Angie.
semi semifinals for this. Of course, this is a single elimination bracket, so as soon as you lose, you're out. So going against the undefeated uh Anki is going to be pretty interesting to see. So
Sounds
okay,
good.
well, looks like we are incorrect. They will be sorry, the TD Bless will be sorry, Angie will actually be playing Braum Lives Matter, while NLE Valkyries will actually be playing RAR. So that's actually going to be interesting to see. Uh,
Katie Bliss.
Blessed, yeah, TD Bless. I don't want to say RAR. Sorry, but you guys are gone. Um, but looking at this, it looks like let's see, NLE Valkyries. Yeah, so TD Bless was not actually able to take a game off of Valkyrie. So that's going to be interesting to see. Will they be able to at least take a game off during that best of five?
I don't know, but we will see. I think we're going to be going into best of 5 territory, right? And if we get more delays, we're going to be here till 2 in the morning Eastern time. So we're going to see. This series already went late, but hey, it was a banger. So I'm excited. Also, before we close, I do want to ask, who is your MVP for this series?
I think it has to be Riven. Riven did amazing game one on Yone, did amazing on the Riven, of course. Unfortunate that it was a loss, but he still carried the team. And of course, this game, yes, Drop Dead did very good, but I think that the Yone was able to kind of keep people in check, having the Fate seal, kind of grouping up so that Olaf could come in and just destroy them.
Absolutely. I also want to give kind of an ace, like on OP, right? Like a highlight to the players on the losing team who really stepped up. Feathers, he did an excellent job game 1 and game 2. It's unfortunate he
Hmm.
died in game 3 there, but he was the rock of that team. He kept those games close. And also, I really also want to shout out Xerix. Xerix's engages on that Nautilus, as well as this Recon, he got a lot done. And it's like I shout out to those two. Those two honestly are in my listing for like MVP candidates for their respective roles. Even though they didn't get it done today, I think those are players that really have the skills.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think with that, I think we're gonna call it here. It's already late for you guys. I want you guys to get some good sleep coming into this next Wednesday. But we really appreciate you guys. I'm Badger as always. I've been so excited to be here in launches. It's been great having you, man.
It's been great having you as well. So with that, we will, of course, wrap up the stream. Again, everyone, thank you for watching and being here. And tomorrow will be the Crusaders, which will be looks like Expired Bandits versus Caged Monkeys. So everyone get ready for that. But with that, we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.